T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
After 2 thrilling and explosive test flights in 2023, the SpaceX Starship rocket was launched from the Starbase facility in Boca Chica, Texas. The deep space rocket system aims to undergo an hour-long integrated flight test. If successful, the spacecraft will land in the Indian Ocean and position itself for more complex test flights, eventually paving the way to carry NASA astronauts to the surface of the Moon. The target launch time has been postponed several times on Thursday morning, most recently to give officials more time to clear some rogue boats from nearby exclusion zones for safety reasons. The Starship vehicle, which includes the upper Starship spacecraft and a rocket booster known as Super Heavy, lifted off from SpaceX's private Starbase facility in Boca Chica, Texas, at 8:25 a.m. CT, 9:25 a.m. ET. SpaceX considers the Starship system critical for its founding mission, to transport humans to Mars for the first time. More importantly, NASA has selected Starship as the landing vehicle to transport its astronauts to the lunar surface, starting with the Artemis 3 mission planned for September 2026. The first stage of the launch vehicle, or the bottommost portion known as Super Heavy booster, ignited and hovered over the Gulf of Mexico. The Super Heavy booster burned most of its fuel and separated from the upper portion of Starship spacecraft atop Super Heavy. During the live broadcast, SpaceX Communications Director Dan Hute said the booster was expected to make an autonomous, controlled landing in the ocean. But the booster didn't fire all the engines we expected and lost thrust. SpaceX said it was trying to capture video footage of what happened before the booster hit the water. However, the booster managed to fly further than any Super Heavy booster had previously reached. In the last 2 flights, Super Heavy was destroyed in mid-air before it could attempt landing maneuvers. Meanwhile, the Starship spacecraft used its own engines to propel itself to very high speeds, aiming for orbital velocities. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk said the primary goal of these early test flights is to propel Starship to orbital velocities, meaning speeds fast enough for the spacecraft to enter a stable orbit around Earth. Typically, such an achievement would require speeds reaching 17,500 miles per hour, 28,000 kilometers per hour. However, Starship won't actually aim to enter orbit on this flight. Instead, according to documents published by the Federal Aviation Administration permitting commercial rocket launches, the spacecraft will make a hard landing in the Indian Ocean, hopefully about 230 miles, 370 kilometers, away from the nearest landmass. Starship tests and technology demonstrations. Starship burned its engine for about 6 minutes before transitioning to the landing phase. The spacecraft will then undergo several crucial tests and technical demonstrations. First, Starship will attempt to open the payload bay doors, which need to remain open during future missions for the capsule to deploy satellites into space. Next, SpaceX will conduct what it calls a propellant transfer demonstration. According to a NASA email explaining the test in December, the goal is to transfer some of the propellant inside the Starship spacecraft from one tank to another. SpaceX engineers designed this demo to understand how refueling would work on Starship during future missions in orbit. SpaceX's explosive test flight process, Musk said he was more confident this flight would be successful compared to the tests in 2023. Success would potentially provide crucial data for the company to transition Starship to more challenging test flights. In a recent speech posted on social media, he said, "I don't want to jinx it, but I think the likelihood of reaching orbit is good 80%. This is definitely a better rocket than the third flight, by 1 or 2 flights." However, SpaceX officials have repeatedly stated that the company does not expect 100% accuracy in these early test flights. Each of these flight tests continues to be exactly that, a test. They're not happening in a laboratory or on a test stand, but they're putting flight hardware into the flight environment to maximize learning, said. This rapid, iterative development approach has formed the basis of all of SpaceX's major innovative advances.